Good morning. Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz, Love Talk on Babz Rolls Ivy. I'm delighted to talk to these folks this morning, Dr. Natalie Gosnell and Dr. Andrew Kircher. Did I say that right? Unmute yourselves. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
When I got the materials for y'all coming on, I was so interested in the gift and what y'all were doing, because I love talking to people who their occupation is like scientists, astrophysicists, all these things, and then they're working on like an art project. So I'm fascinated about this relationship and how y'all come to this. And I know oftentimes art and science go hand in hand, like we see it with music and math, things like that. So I'm interested in how y'all use your left and right sides of your brains. So let me tell people a little bit about. So Dr. Natalie Gosnell is an observational astrophysicist, which you have to tell me what that is, girl, because I don't know. Artist and associate professor of physics at Colorado College, and her work as a teacher scholar. She is committed to building bridges across disciplinary boundaries, particularly in the world of art science. And Andrew Kircher, PhD, is a creative producer, dramaturg, teacher, and artist, and he is the director of public humanities and research at Bard Graduate Center in New York. And they have collaborated with their team to create a book and a program called The Gift. All right, so were you sitting in a coffee shop one day and said, you know what we need? We need a collaborative, interactive experience around a book. Like, how did this all happen?
Well, thanks so much for having us on. It's been a long journey, but one that's been a privilege to be a part of. So the gift came together over many years of collaboration between both Andrew and myself, but also our collaborator, Janani Balasubramanian. And Janani is an artist with many years of experience of working with scientists and trying to create pieces that are kind of defy simple categorization. And Janani was visiting Colorado Springs, where I'm based at Colorado College, and asked a friend if they happen to know any astronomers who might like to spend an afternoon working with an artist to make something. And at the time, I was early in my faculty career, and I was really grappling with feeling like the way that science is sort of canonically taught didn't feel very expansive or authentic to me. I was looking for other ways to engage with my students. And so I got this email from Janani. I was like, yes, I will absolutely spend an afternoon with you. And so we came together and created a movement-based theater game that I could use in an introductory astronomy classroom. And that was initially all we thought that we were going to be doing together. This was 7 years ago now. But what we were really asking when we came together, even just to make this game, was what would happen if artists and scientists came together and really co-created something, didn't put science on a pedestal or art on a pedestal, but came together on equal ground and asked, like, what would it mean if we figure out how to tell stories together that can live in art and science and also beyond. And very, very thankfully, Andrew sort of witnessed Janani and I working together at that time and said, we're asking deeper, more interesting questions than just how do we make a game for an astronomy classroom, and really encouraged us to keep exploring. And over many years of iteration and exploration, we ultimately came to our immersive installation piece, The Gift, which we're really happy to share with the New Haven community at Yale.
Wow. So this is fascinating stuff. So what is what is it? From what I understand, it's a book, and then it's interactive, and it's music and an experience.
It's a social reading experience. So people come anywhere within the 3-hour window that it's installed. They'll walk into a big, open, beautiful space, the Schwarzman Center, with tables, 40 tables with these books. And here, I'll show you. These beautiful, oversized, cloth-covered, almost like children's books, even written in a children's book cadence, but for all ages. And there's music in the room, and the music has been composed in units of time that correspond with the experience of reading the book, meaning that no matter when you enter in, there will be these dramatic moments where the music coincides with your reading experience. But other people are at different moments in their journey. So someone is always getting up and leaving, someone else is joining, and you pick the color of the book based off of the language you want to read it in.
Oh, I want that color right there.
That's French. This here, this beautiful purple, is Korean.
Oh, I want that too. They match my glasses.
And then this is Chinese. We also have Arabic and Spanish, and we have a tactile version with a verbal description for blind patrons that guides you through the process of reading it in a physical way. So the idea is that everyone has an unmediated, completely authentic experience reading with someone who maybe doesn't even speak their language, and that much as the story, which narrates the process of mass transfer as one star dies and gives its matter over to another, and Natalie can say more on this, much as the story is about becoming aware of the interrelated nature that these two stars have to one another, we become aware of our relationship to others in our orbit, others in the room with us, others in our lives, and the process of letting go.
So are we reading out loud?
No, we're all reading quietly together as we listen to the music, because everyone is at a different moment. I join, and 3 minutes later you join. Some people take 15 minutes to read. Some people take a half an hour. It's really whatever time you need.
Wow. So this is like a big read with music, and this is very, very cool.
Yeah, it's like a read-in.
Now, have you done this before, or is this the debut of this?
Oh, we have done it before. So we were very fortunate to recently show the gift at the Los Angeles Music Center to share with the LA community, and have been able to show the piece in a variety of different locations across the country. It premiered at New York Public Library a couple of years ago, which was really exciting, being able to have a big read, as you said, in a public library space and catch a lot of tourists, inviting them in to experience this installation art science piece that they didn't know was there, and really kind of capture their imagination in that moment.
So I imagine you design the music, someone creates the music for this. Like you're not taking Beyonce and overlaying it over this. Like you are creating specific music for this.
Yeah, our collaborator, Tina Hanai Miller, composed the piece for us and worked with Solomon Hoffman on the arrangements. And we tasked her with almost an impossible ask, creating a looped score that's about 15 minutes long that has no beginning and no end. So someone can enter at any point and they will have a fully realized experience of the music and the book, where the music is going to overlay with that individual's experience of the book, regardless of when they start. And when we first asked her, she's like, this isn't possible, but she rose to the challenge, and the music really is incredible. People always ask us after, how did you time the music so that that one moment happened when I turned this page? And we have to tell them that we didn't time it. It's the beautiful serendipity that happened in this piece, and also the genius of Tina and the music that she composed for us.
So, okay, so Andrew, you're tasked with what? Because you're a creative producer and a dramaturg and all that. Is your role to make sure all the pieces make sense? Like, are you direct, like, this is what we should do and this is how it should go? And
it's someone that I really admire once called dramaturgy the midwife between theory and practice. So I often am there to help take ideas and create the process whereby it goes from the big idea to the big realization. Often that's design, sometimes that's shepherding editing processes. It is my creative language.
so what else is happening in the space, Natalie and Andrew? Like, if I come in, are you in the commons? Are you in the dining hall? Well, like where in the Schwarzman, so I have a sense of what this looks like. And what else is there lights? Is there, I don't know.
No, so imagine you come into the dining hall and it's empty except for 40 tables with one chair at each table. And at that table is one book. And to give a sense, when we did it in LA, over the course of just a couple hours, we had 600 people pass through. So
Wow.
it's always this constant flowing river of people coming and going and coming and going. Um, and so when you come into the space, it's just lit with a bit of a sense of space to really highlight the beauty of that architecture, and then to make it so that you can read. And then the music, between the music and the book, your focus is so tied into these gorgeous paintings that are intermingled between the text, paintings by Amy Myers. And so you're so in the book and so aware of the people around you and the music, that the drama emerges from your experience.
So how do you create the images? Like what are the images like? And did you decide that too? Like was all of that, like I know you all have a big collaborative. This seems like a big collaborative effort to make this happen.
It's absolutely a big collaborative effort, and it really couldn't happen without the individual contributions of each person. So within the book, as Andrew said, there's excerpts from paintings by artist Amy Myers. Amy creates these really amazing, fantastic, enormous paintings. They're like 6 feet by 6 feet with very, very intricate detail. And they evoke a sense of physics, of astrophysics, of space, but they aren't necessarily illustrating anything in particular. And we got connected with her kind of early on in our collaborative process and realized that just taking a very small excerpt, so like a small portion of her very large paintings and interspersing them with the story in the book really just gives readers a moment to stop and reflect, and have found that although the painting excerpts are not illustrations of the story, there's a connection that readers feel between what they're reading about, what they're thinking and feeling, and what these incredibly intricate paintings are revealing to themselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
And
so when this got, you want to say something, Andrew?
oh, I was just going to say it's a delight to watch the experience from up above, because every time someone turns to one of those paintings, you hear a little gasp because it's exactly what they needed at that moment.
Wow. So these books that you show, they're pretty big, but they look pretty hefty. Now, are they for sale? Like, what if I want one of these books after the fact? Like, I love this so much, I like to take it home. Can't? No.
Not as of yet, but you're able to follow us on thegift.space. And this is where we continue to find new and inventive ways to get this story and this experience out to people.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about the name. Tell me about The Gift.
So to do that, I'll tell you a little bit about my astrophysics research. That is the foundation of the story, or the inspiration point of the story. So you said before, I have to ask you what an observational astrophysicist is. So what that means is, in my research and the work that I do, I use telescopes to gather information, little pieces of data, little clues, to study stars. And I'm particularly interested in stars that live in pairs, in binary systems. And these are stars that are orbiting one another. But I really like the systems where the stars are close enough to one another that they're going to change each other's lives. And
Wow.
one example of this change is that stars, as they grow old, they puff up and become hundreds of times larger than they are when they're sort of in the main part of their life. And they can become large enough that they start transferring their outer layers, the real material of the star, that gets transferred over to the companion star, to the pair star. That companion star then takes on that material, gaining mass, becomes larger. As a result, it starts burning brighter. And then you're left with the core of that transferring star. And so you have this fundamental change, this fundamental shift in the binary system. And in this research that I've done, often in public science media, they talk about this transfer of material as stellar vampirism, stellar cannibalism, very like violent and extractive metaphors. And I was always really uncomfortable with that. And so right at the beginning, when Jenny and Andrew and I started collaborating together, I voiced this discomfort, and we asked, well, what's a different way that we could tell this story? And so reframing this transfer of material as a gift, as a connection between the two stars. And so the gift is this transfer of material from one star to the other, but it's really about the connection and the possibility of change and transformation. And realizing that we can learn about ourselves by looking to the sky and seeing what stories the universe has to tell us as well.
Wow. So that's the gift. Is that
That's
the gift? Okay. So Andrew, working with scientists, like she's like a girl Neil deGrasse Tyson, like she's that person, right? How does it feel like this is a natural sort of way to work together? Because I imagine you're always working with artists, bona fide artists, artists. Now you're working with a scientist, that is trying to tell a story in an art as an art. What was that like? What is that like?
Well, first, it was incredible. Natalie is a bona fide scientist, a bona fide artist, and has revealed to me that so many people who dedicate their lives to science research have to be at their core creative individuals, because they're taking something that is purely abstract and making it accessible, if not delightful, to all of us. And one of the things that I love about this project, and particularly love about working with Natalie, is when I work with artists, we are often bound by the human scale. We think about things in terms of a human lifetime, in terms of a human heartbeat, in terms of what a human eye can see and a human ear can hear. And so that means that our imagination is bound by our existence. Whereas Natalie thinks about things in scales that are so far beyond, so humbling and awesome, that it changes the way that I return to the human experience. In making the gift, during that time, we all went through big life transformations. All of us did. And I lost my dad at the time. And being able to think about loss and love as something that is being able to use the universe as a way of processing grief, and understanding that in his final moments he was giving to me rather than taking something away from me, changed my connection to him and to myself and to all of those that I still owe something to. And I don't think I could have found that if I hadn't followed Natalie's lead and looked to the stars for answers. And a beautiful little twist that's embedded in the piece is that the entire reading experience and the musical score is about the length of time that this mass transfer takes if you were to translate the time that mass transfer takes from the stellar scale to the relative scale of a human life.
So that just makes us all scientists. I feel like just participating makes us scientists as well as artists. So
absolutely.
So you have the book in several different languages, right? Tell me, how did you decide which language? You just took the languages that are the most probably popular?
So our offering the piece in multiple languages was a goal from the very beginning, because we want to meet communities where they are. And a goal that we've all had is creating something that extends invitations and welcomes those to the worlds of art and science who maybe haven't felt welcome in those spaces in the past. And so the piece premiered with just English and Spanish, but as we've partnered with new presenting institutions, we've been able to commission additional translations of the piece and additional printings of the book for languages that'll meet that community. So in LA, we were able to add Korean and Chinese. And at LA, we'll be premiering the Arabic translation and the tactile version of the piece for our visually impaired and blind readers.
So how does that make you feel to be able to do that? Like, this is very DEI. This is very diverse and equitable and inclusive. But was that the lens in which you were looking through this?
Yes, but even more, I think, to Natalie's point, not only is there the question of like So many people feel excluded and systematically, thoughtfully excluded from science learning. Um, but but also we usually so when I work on art projects, live art, we'll have things like translations, like subtitles, as an inclusive gesture. But it's always a secondary experience, and we wanted to make a work of art where if you were reading it in Chinese, you were having the same authentic experience as the person reading in English. And so the book was designed such that um, yeah, that each person is connecting with the art directly. There is no mediating factor. There's no screen and no subtitle. It's just you and the art and the people around you.
Hmm. So I imagine wherever you take this, you pay attention to the population and who's in that community. And then like, oh, we gotta go raise some money because we need a book in this language. Is that
This is where our partners are incredible. When we reached out to Yale, each community says, "Ooh, here's who we need to reach," and then they commission that new language and work with us on it. And Yale was really excited to work with us on Arabic and the tactile reading experience.
that's pretty I find that to be very important. And the fact that it's not a secondary thought, that it is first thought. Do you know what I mean? Like that in those communities they're never thought of. They're always thought of as, well, oh yeah, by the way, and this centers them like everybody else, which I'm sure will have a wonderful effect on their experience. So how many times have y'all done this?
Gosh, we've had about 5 installations. Is that right, Natalie?
Yeah, I think 5 large installations
Mm-hmm.
where we're always able to reach a few hundred community members each time.
And so how do people find y'all? Like, do you put it out there like this is what we do? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to universities? Are you talking to local museums? Like, what's your universe like?
So our universe, yeah, we're talking to performing arts centers. We're talking to universities. We're talking to museums. We did a version at the Fine Arts Center at Colorado College in Colorado Springs, where that was, rather than being a one-time hundreds of people passing through sort of big reading experience, we set up a room with just 3 tables of books, and established it more as a gallery installation. So people were able to go into a space where they learned a bit about the project, then they experienced it, then they came out the other side and had a reflection space.
Mm-hmm.
So we redesign and scale according to the partner and according to the context.
So are y'all capturing, like, is there a mechanism in place to capture people's feelings and thoughts about this? Like when they walk out, is somebody there like, here's a survey, or tell us what you think, or leave your comments? Like, how do you capture that?
So thank you for asking that. At a lot of our installations, we've had some reflection cards and a reflection area available immediately after people have experienced the piece, because we found very early on that quite a lot of people have very strong emotional reactions, especially if there's been recent loss or they're experiencing grief of some kind. And providing an opportunity for them to just pause and reflect has, I think, been quite meaningful. And we've gathered, in this case, over 1,000 of these reflection responses, which are incredibly moving. People telling stories of family and loved ones who have recently passed, and how much they would have loved the piece, or how much this piece has informed the way that they think about their relationship with them, and how it helps them, as I think Andrew was saying, sort of reframe thinking about those connections and what we give to one another when we're in relationship with one another. Reading those response cards, it's very humbling, and it's an honor to play any role in the stories of life that we develop together and in relationship with one another. So we'll have a reflection area at the Schwarzman Center for those who come and experience the gift there. And we just hope to be able to meet the community and provide an opportunity for beautiful connection and reflection in the ways that we have before.
Now, do you want to say something, Andrew? I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that Natalie is sweetly downplaying the experience of reading these cards. When we first did our installation in Colorado College, we went in and saw these cards and just openly, uncontrollably wept together. People just write the most beautiful things, and it's even reached the point where we've recognized that this, like many works of art, has a therapeutic benefit, an opportunity for people to heal and heal together.
Mm. And I know you probably don't have any sense of intentionality about what you want people to feel about this. But was this the feelings that you wanted people to have? Like, was this the experiences you wanted people to have, or did you just like, no, we're just gonna put it out there and whatever, however people feel, they feel?
It was somewhere in between. I think, we were seeking to tell a story of science and art in a completely different way. Really, it was sort of a research question of what it would it be if artists and scientists came together and co-created something in a truly collaborative way. And along the way, realizing that there is something that we can learn about ourselves by thinking about the story of these two stars in relationship with one another. And through the process of trying to tell that story thoughtfully and intentionally, it sort of reveals itself to us as a story of loss and connection and grief and renewal. And so it's almost like the stars told us that this was a story that we needed to tell. It wasn't kind of predetermined on our part at all. I also think because we were finishing the kind of crafting the piece during the deep pandemic, it was all on our minds, even if we weren't fully aware of it at the time. And so it seemed like we all needed an opportunity to reflect on the beauty of the universe and the beauty of human life and the beauty of being in connection with one another. And this story was an opportunity to do so.
So are you all present for the whole thing, or you are? Wow.
Yeah,
all right, so
all of us and our collaborator Jenny will be there on the 17th.
So do you open with some kind of conversation around what this is what this is, or you just let people come in and sit, read, and hear the music? And
Yeah, well, there's no official beginning of the piece, meaning some people will come a couple hours in, but we're there. It's a chance for us to connect with people. We walk along the line and introduce ourselves. We talk with people during the reflection. It's the way that we learn how we can improve the piece and how it's impacting people.
Wow. So all right, so what day are you here? Because I can't seem to put my hand on it.
April 17th.
And this one day, or are you here a couple of days?
Just that evening, 6 to 9 p.m.
6 to 9 p.m. in the Commons. That's what we call it, the Commons.
Great.
And you're just inviting people to come and walk in and have this experience. And if they want to leave a reflection, they can. And
yeah, it's free and open to the public. Please bring your family, bring your friends, bring your loved ones, and come experience this piece, both individually and together.
40 tables,
Yeah.
one chair at each table. Is that it, right?
Yeah, although we've had, sometimes people will come with their small children and sit and read together, and we love that. So it's, however you want to experience it, we're probably ready to receive you.
And it's about a 15-minute experience, or 15, 20 minutes, or however long people want to sit. Is that you're not pushing people out if they want to reread it.
That's right. We always set out to create a piece that allowed you to take your own time. You can experience the piece at your own pace. There's so much about the worlds of science and art that are highly prescriptive, that tell you exactly how you are supposed to be in that space and what time you are supposed to be there. And we wanted to take all of that away. And so most people take about 10 to 15 minutes, but as Andrew said earlier, you could be in there rereading the book over and over for 30 minutes if that's what makes the most sense for you, if that's what you need to do in that moment.
And people can find you and follow y'all on Instagram or social media. Are y'all on social media, or is there some way to keep in touch?
We're not on Instagram, but if you go to our website, which is www.thegift.space, you can join our mailing list. So you can keep up to date with where we are, where our next installations are going, and kind of stay connected with us.
And where do you go? Where do you go next?
We don't know.
Really?
Yeah. We try not to overbook the project. We're really deliberate about where we install.
Well,
We
y'all
have a
have
lot
to.
of
Y'all have other
possibilities.
jobs, so there's that, right? Like you
Oh,
have to.
there's that too.
We
Yeah,
do have other jobs, but if you're listening and you have an idea for where we can go with the gift next, please reach out and connect with us.
And you at some point somebody from Europe or abroad is going to get wind of this and call you.
Oh, we would love to take the project to Europe.
Yeah, I would imagine that you will, after spending this time at the Schwarzman, somebody is going to get wind of this and, oh, we need to have them here in Vienna or somewhere, with a live band playing their, orchestra playing this music in the background and looping it, that kind of thing. So, well, it was lovely to talk to you. I cannot wait to have this experience. I'm going to figure out how I could get over there during that time and just see this. And think about putting those books on sale because they look beautiful.
Thank you so much. If you make it over, please come over and say hi. Would love to chat in person.
I will say hi.
Okay.
I am delighted by this, and I can't wait to experience. I really cannot wait. When the folks coordinating this said, because I'm a book lover, I would enjoy this very immersive experience, I jumped at it. So yeah. So thank you, Dr. Gosnell and Dr. Kircher. I appreciate y'all. And I look forward to seeing y'all in April.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right. You can log off anytime you like.
All right.
And we look forward to seeing y'all in New Haven on the Schwarzman Center in April. And y'all can go to the Schwarzman Center and find them, or you could go to www.thegift.space to find them and see where else they're going to be. Don't miss this. It's going to be fun and wonderful. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, Harry, I'm going to log out and I'll be back tomorrow. Y'all have a good day and stay warm out there because I think it's a bit chilly still, another chilly day. I love that so much, Harry. Harry, do you want to go and see it? Although it's at night, Harry, I don't know. And you'll be back from vacation by that time. I'll see y'all soon. Thank you. Okay, maybe I should keep talking till Harry comes back. We'll keep